Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, look at my face, pay me respect. Please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All as at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my race, put you in check. We're stopping the vision to climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to go. Where is the bag to get us so caught up? Yeah, that is the mission and goal. Staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much. Straight up be looking like hoes. Never gonna grow. Can't count on you and cuz. Most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show. Doing it for entertainment. Or you're doing it for clout. Or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers for words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement. These are the days of the South. These days we play differently. This is what black empowerment's about. Wait. I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us against us, don't switch it, cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens. Watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the one end. Hey, caution, wait. These do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why you snakes wait late in the grass, plotting on what you can take? Black money in a black bank, mean black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, then he go a lead and knock him off his check. Check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Reppin' said he reppin' red, black, and green. Never fall, won't break. There's no limit to what I do for mine. But you so they don't take, come up with the anger and hate up all of my ancestors combined. You wanna get one time? I keep it fully loaded, extended in the fully auto effing to keep you from crossing that gun line. You in violation. I ain't never shot a caveman. Should be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow tape across the door, Miss Caution.
Wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my line. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Woo! Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ. Will be joining us shortly, family. Glad to be black with you again for another Wednesday. Was that fire or was that fire? Shout out to Q Butter, Ziax Institute. Yes, indeed. Shots fired. Shots fired. Brooklyn is the vanguard. Did you not hear that? Put that in your repertoire. I'm trying to tell you. What's up, Sister Lex? What's good with you? How's everything going in your neck of the woods? How's your mom? Tell her I said, what's up? Steer elegant. Oh, excellent. Excuse me. Shout out to you. Miss Joyce in the building. Brother Monty on the check-in. What's good with your family? Aunt Marie, how's everything going with you? Uncle Jesse on the check-in. What's good, family? Here we go. We about to kick it in. This Thursday, we got a lot to discuss. A lot has been happening. We got to continue what we was going in on last week. But I'm telling you, that jam is fire. That jam, Q Butter, is fire right there. You got to put that in the repertoire right there. A BB for Hodier. Sister Farnessa said, let's go, Q Butter. I'm telling you, Brooklyn is the vanguard. We not playing. We calls them out. We've been calling them out is what we do over here. We keep it thorough. We keep it thorough. We keep it thorough. Shout out to B More, Sister Marie on the check-in. Hope everything's going well with you, brother Kev, South Kakalaki, Geechee family. What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm in that too. Uh-oh. We got the Midwest in the building. Shout out to you and yours and your king. I see y'all doing your thing. Keep them funny ones coming, sis. You know, I need those during my day. I need those. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's FNP Accessories. Get yours. Your fedoras, FNP Accessories. Brother Ray, BK William Mackey History Club. If you missed Dr. Arthur Lewis, you can check the replay live and direct on YouTube. And we'll put the link in the chat so y'all can check it out at your leisure. While Brother Tag gets it cracking and getting the kinks out in the background, we're going to give him a few minutes. I see him trying to work it out. Shout out to everybody. I hope your week has been well thus far. It's been a lot of craziness, a lot more protests happening about, these migrants coming in. We're going to break all of that down because, imagery is a form, of propaganda. And we have to understand what it is that we're looking at when people talk about the influx of migrants. We're going to break it all down. We're going to break it all down. Some people say, well, what happened to them Ukrainians? Where they at? I'm telling you, thorough. We thorough over here. We gonna give you the 411. What happened to them Chinese? We gonna give you the 411. And then we gonna break it all down with the policy and how it, hinders your progression as being free in this country and abroad. So we're gonna tie it all together. Of course, we got those history throwbacks. I don't know. We might pull out the crate tonight, the attorney at war automatics, because we're dealing with politics. And of course, if you know, you know. The Freedom Party in 2013 tried to warn everybody. We try to get everybody on the right page. Some people say we were before our time. No, we were right on time. We were right on time. Speaking of the Freedom Party, we just lost another one, Brother Michael James. My condolences to his family and loved ones. His going home services will be at Friendship Baptist Church in Queens this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the viewing, and then funeral services right after that. So I will be in Queens this Saturday morning. UAM attire for all of you in the check-in who's listening. Let's try to pull up in UAM attire, and we'll tell you why a little bit later. If you knew Michael James, you know he was a real one. As Brother Michael Graves, the history hitman, said, he was a person who led in silence. He was a silent leader. In fact, he was a key figure in financing the Freedom Party. So we're going to break all of that down a little bit later, because in this political climate, where people are trying to make a decision if they should vote, not vote, and if so, which parties. I call that house Negro mentality, because it lets me know that you still afraid to let go of the slave master. You still afraid to break the system. In fact, for those of you who decided, now or years before, that you were no longer going to participate in the political process, you should at least delineate yourself from these two duopolies, whether it be the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. If you can, re-register as an independent, because if you're still registered in either of those parties, the numbers still hold weight. So you cannot just advocate for not voting, but then stay wedded to either of these parties, because you still giving them footing with your numbers. So we have to, get away from this wicked system. In 2013, we encouraged the citizens of New York State to replenish or replete themselves, I would say, from these parties, register as independents, and then move forward. In 2013, we set the stage of what should be done when forming a political party. We already did it here. And as I said many times before, that is a story to be told. And who knows? If I get some time in this life, I may do that story because, as I mentioned before, so many are transitioning now, and we want to get those stories while we still can. So again, my condolences go out to the James family, and I will see some of you and UAM members in attendance on Saturday. If you can, please wear UAM Freedom Retreat shirts or jackets because you know Michael James sported his daily, daily. So let's get into it, family. Um, Now, this whole issue that's been happening with the borders, not just at the Mexican border, but the Canadian border. You have an influx of migrants. Now, what you see on the television screens are brown people or black people getting off buses or boarding buses and being dropped off outside of shelters and hotels, in police departments or abandoned buildings, wherever they can stuff them at. Those are the images that you see. And the reason that is to thwart you from what's really happening, who's really flooding through these borders. When they say they are coming through the Mexican border or they're coming through Ecuador, if you don't know anywhere any better, you would think it was Ecuadorians or Mexicans or all Venezuelans or whoever, Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Africans coming through. But in fact, there is an over 900% increase in Chinese nationals coming through these borders. And they are paying to do so, some as high as $50,000 per person. Smugglers are charging to bring these people into the country. And, some law enforcement are turning a blind eye. So we're going to get into all of that. We also going to touch on the fact that this atmosphere of intense policing or extreme policing, where's it all coming from? Are we paying attention? Here on Thorough Black Talk Worldview, we showed y'all a video when we were at the press release conference here in New York City of them turning out these robocops, robot cops. You had the robot R2D2 looking thing. You got the robot dog. You got these drones. And while people are moving throughout the city and throughout the state, and not just New York, what happens here goes on everywhere. New York City is the blueprint for policing around the world. The NYPD is the blueprint for policing around the world. You don't have to believe me. Just go and, research it for yourselves. But I wanted to talk about, before we get into this issue with these migrants and what's really happening, I want to talk about this cop city um, in Atlanta, what it all means, how does it affect us and why. And of course, here on Thorough Black Talk, we like to highlight other black media. You can't just show the Yoruba media. We like to highlight black media and see what they're talking about and get the perspective from black journalists, legal analysts, commentators, and the like. So if you know who Brother Kamal Franklin is. If not, you're going to know now. And FD Signifier, thank you to his channel. You guys can follow him at your leisure if you want to. But let's get into this with Brother Kamal explaining exactly what Cop City is and what's taking place. Because now you have a family, I believe a roundup of maybe 60 or 70 persons who are being prosecuted under the RICO statute. So when you look at the optics of what's happening with former President Donald Trump, they're just showing you the optics of it. But underneath the surface, these legal cases will set precedent, and it will be hard for attorneys to litigate on your behalf now, because this will change the doctrine. This will change the doctrine of the First Amendment. So we have to pay close attention to that. But in the meantime, while I see my brother Tad get the kinks out in the back, we're gonna play this clip, and he'll give me the thumbs up when he's ready, and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on, family. Here we go.
Somebody got paid, is getting paid, multiple people are getting paid to make this happen.
And I mean, I agree, as in the powers that be, again, corporate powers, this project is approximately a $90 million project. 60 million of it is raised through corporate funding. So the same corporations who during the Black Lives Matter era were putting out all these statements and media campaigns talking about how they cared about the Black community without a moment's notice, no conversation with Black organizers, activists, anything of that nature, commentators. They decided that they were going to fund this project to the tune of $60 million. The other 30 million is coming from the city itself. And you're completely right. It's like, this is a way to show favor for the police, that the police are so cared for. And it's in all major cities, right? 30 to 40 to 50% of the budget goes to the police. So there was never any real action in Atlanta and or in other places around defunding the police and or abolishing the police. But the police themselves could not even withstand the conversation without reacting in a way that said, either you're with us or against us. And that's geared towards the elected officials. And whether Democrat or Republican, whether Black or white, when these mainstream elected officials get into office, they're always looking to seek favor with the police, to be on the side with the police, because for them, that shows a strong standing of a sort of establishment politics. Obviously, it's wrapped up in the idea of protecting private property. There's larger issues of concern around not only, again, the over-policing of the Black community, but the gentrification, which has helped along with more police on corners, the over arrests. Over 90% of those arrested in Atlanta still, even though the population is now dipped under 50%, is Black folks.
The social cohesion of being able to be in community, have strong community ties, when you're in community with people who you know that you're invested in their well-being, if that permeates through a space, the crime is less likely. And that is why we're anti. That is why ACAB. Like, ACAB is not just a pithy Twitter statement, right? Which has its own issues. It's also like a sociological, tautological concept that it is a well-known thing that increasing police presence does not reduce crime. It increases criminalization. Going into the people of that space. So we're talking about, for those who are somewhat familiar with Atlanta, we're talking about like Southeast Atlanta, like down, going towards, I believe, Gresham Park, which is one of the remaining working class, predominantly Black areas of the city. And it's not a high crime area. But the fact that they're building this in a working class Black neighborhood, and that Black neighborhood I'm very familiar with because I used to teach not too far from there, is very insidious and speaks not just to the fact that, not just to everything you just said, but also just the nature of gentrification, where we're not even talking about rebuilding the hood. These are
Now, let me remove this real quick. Shout out to my brother Tad on the check-in. What's good, brother Tad? How you feeling?
Blessed and highly favored. You know how I do, sis. I'm good. Good.
I know. After this segment, we're gonna talk about where we was this weekend and all that came out of that. But as I said many times before, Atlanta has been dubbed the new Black Mecca, as far as enterprise is concerned. And I would agree with that. However, as I said, and we said on this platform, unless you have a mechanism to protect it, they will take it from you. There is a reason why they are building Cop City in the heart of downtown Atlanta, or excuse me, Atlanta's working class neighborhoods. Now, I know people believe in their minds, if I just do well, if I just be good, they'll leave me alone. Um, and they are going to employ those tactics on you because politically you're unprotected, and militarily you're unprotected, and legally you're getting squashed out here. Excuse me, brother Tad, your thoughts on this Cop City in the heart of a new and rising Black Mecca?
Well, I think you and the brother just laid it out perfectly. I'll just add to it that, you know, we discussed this time and time again. All of this is in correlation with the migrants that are coming in. They need people to replace us. We were never brought here to be a part of the American dream. We were only brought here to facilitate it. And now that they've achieved that dream, our services are no longer required. So it's still operation elimination of Black folks. It may sound crazy, it may sound far-fetched, but for those who study, for those who understand our story here in the hells of North America and understand how laws are created to prevent us from moving forward, they would get it. As you said, sis, Atlanta's the Mecca, the Black Mecca. It's where tons of entrepreneurs live. When people start making money and doing well for themselves, they move to Atlanta. Atlanta is an important part of our story, not just for Dr. King and the likes, but there's so much. There's a real energy and a high frequency of Black excellence that exists in Atlanta. And what they want to do is crush that spirit. See, what we're fighting is a spiritual war on the physical plane, and many people don't get it. So I don't want to get too deep into that. But remember, when they came to Africa, they didn't steal slaves. They stole architects, politicians, dignitaries, royalty. This is a fact. You're not going to get lame people to build a civilization for you, particularly the builders of the first civilization that the world still marvels over. And they even want to give credit to the aliens, as Baba Kwesi talked about over the weekend. We'll revisit that in another time. But as it relates to today, there was policies that were addressed that was called the Negro problem. We have always been a problem. In fact, even after the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln wrote a letter to the British Crown saying, what are we going to do with these Africans? Because as long as they're here, we're going to have problems with them. Hence, they carved out Liberia. They gave the territory of Liberia, said, well, you know what? You can send them here. Some who didn't want to stay went to Liberia. Liberia is a derivative of the term liberty. That's what it's supposed to be, a nod to being free. Many chose to stay here, you know, because they didn't feel a connection to Africa since we've been cut off from that. So this is real important as we fast forward and we see it today, because again, I say just about every week, we saw this play done 100 years ago when they sent for the Southern Europeans after the Reconstruction period. During segregation, we had flourishing communities like Atlanta. Atlanta wasn't the only flourishing community we had. During North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, of course, Weeksville here in Brooklyn, so many places. Tulsa, Oklahoma wasn't the only place. We had tons of places, places in Florida, you know. And what happened was we were outpacing them. Leave us to our own vices. Just leave us alone and we'll do fine by ourselves. And they bear witness to that. So they sent for Southern Europeans and got them to replace us. Unions was formed so that they can block us out because we were the working hands. We were the builders. We were the former slaves, at least on this soil. We were the architects back on the continent. I say all that to say that this is the play going right now, where they're shuttling in immigrants and still criminalizing Blackness. Because after the Emancipation Proclamation, you have what was called Black codes, laws that made it pretty much illegal to be a Black person in America. What was one of the first laws, sis? The vagrancy laws. After Emancipation Proclamation, you had what was called the vagrancy laws. What was the vagrancy law? The vagrancy law was that If you do not have a job as a black person, if you do not have a job, you're subject to go to jail. But now with the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery, it says slavery is abolished except as punishment for a crime. And to be a vagrant was a crime. So they returned you to slavery, i.e. the jail system. All of this is documented. You got to be a critical thinker and be able to peel the layers back to really use your third eye to see what's going on. Because the same trick they pulled back then, they pull in right now. You see the Irish, the Italian, the Jewish always talk about when their grandparents came to this country, how they didn't have a nickel in their pocket and they built something out of nothing. What they never talk about is how all these immigrants got so much set-asides. They got so much government funding and grants to build businesses that black people didn't qualify for. And we see the same thing today. Billions of dollars, billions upon billions of dollars are going to migrants from all around the world. Meanwhile, you still got a unemployment rate that hasn't been resolved in our community. And you still vilifying and criminalizing blackness. You do it through the media. You do it through propagandas and false narratives in your publications. I mean, but this is hundreds of years we talking about, so I can't even sum it all up in a little soliloquy. I just want our people to start really investing in themselves. Check out what's going on. Stop listening to people rhetoric and dogma and start looking at what works in your favor. When you go to vote, if that's your thing, vote for what's in your favor. Don't vote along party lines. Stop being ignorant. Don't be an idiot for these people, because they're taking you for granted. They're taking our whole community for granted. And it's coming down to the wire because our people are getting pushed out, getting incarcerated, getting murdered. And meanwhile, they have a whole new working class to replace us, because it's not in the design for us to be owners and be a part of the ownership of this country. But I'm going to step off my soapbox with that point right there, because we just started.
Facts, my brother. You laid it out beautifully. I tell you, we come with the 1-2 punch over here. Sister Marcia is getting ready. I see Brother Black is almost ready. While he gets himself together, and Sister Marcia, just to continue the conversation with over policing. Last week we talked about the parades, whether it was the African American Day Parade or the West Indian Labor Day Parade that took place. They too were heavily surveilled. But I want you all to pay attention to this news clip and listen to the various commentaries from the citizens of this area. Now, remember, Crown Heights, Brooklyn is the home mostly of Jewish folks and or those who identify as Jewish and the Caribbean masses. Brooklyn itself houses the largest population of Caribbeans in New York. Outside of that would be the Bronx, I would guess, and then Queens. But let's get into it, and then we'll come back and continue this discussion on over policing, and we'll let Sister Marcia and Brother Black get it together in the background. Here we go, family.
The message is out, going up in the sky during celebrations surrounding Juve and the West Indian American Day Parade are these police drones as an added layer of security.
These drones are going to be used to help, better supplement patrol officers out in the street.
The drones may be an unwanted guest at backyard barbecues and parties. But Assistant Commissioner Kaz Daughtry tells Pix 11 News this technology will be used only as needed, including responding to large crowds or 311 complaints.
We don't need 10 police cars racing to a large fight, disorderly group. We can deploy our drone to that location. They can get a bird's eye view. The Joint Operations Center, the incident commander on the scene here for Juve will make a determination whether or not if he wants to send a police car or if he wants to send our crisis management teams to go in there and try to mitigate the situation.
Gun violence has overshadowed the Labor Day festivities in the past. The department says last year was the safest year on record. We asked people looking forward to what Caribbean culture has to offer in Brooklyn what they think about the drones being used.
I think it's definitely an invasion of privacy. I think the drones is very extra.
They need to do everything they can to make sure that it's safe and fun like it used to be.
In a statement, the New York Civil Liberties Union said the NYPD is playing fast and loose with our First and Fourth Amendment protections and continues to undermine the post-act requirements to transparently disclose their surveillance technology policies and follow them. Assistant Commissioner Daughtry also says the NYPD's legal team will also be out here when the drone technology is being used, just to make sure everything is going according to the law. He wants everyone to have fun, leave the safety and protection to police. For now, we're live.
This is disturbing on many levels. Now, first of all, we continuously hear here in New York City and in Baltimore and in Philly. And Philly is Philly hot right now. But anyway, in particular here in New York City, we keep hearing the verbiage that crime is down. Crime is down, although those of us who live here know better. But anyway, the powers that be continue to regurgitate that mantra that crime is down. Well, if crime is down, why do you need the over influx of heavy policing? Why do you have to use AI technology in heavy policing? Now, in that news report, she said that while those drones were being deployed, the city or the NYPD has lawyers who are on the streets who can make sure that they are operating within the parameters of the law. Where are the lawyers or the legal representation for the citizens who are being watched? Is anybody asking that question? I don't know. I see my sister Marcia in the background. Let me get her in here. Sister Marcia, good to see you.
Peace, family. How's everyone doing today?
Good, good. I see my brother Black Smith on check in. We got to mute Black, right? Because he got noise in the background. So until he's ready to speak, we'll bring him back in. But Sister Marcia, your thoughts on that news piece? I believe you sent that to me. I think maybe, but let's get.
I sent a lot of things.
Let's get into it, sis.
So I haven't been to Carnival in so long, so I don't know. But I've heard from the people in Brooklyn, like the crowd is not even the same. So it's like they're removing the essence of culture. They're sanitizing it to appease whomever they're appeasing. But the people aren't as flavorful as they once were. Now, in terms of the whole droning of us, it's kind of scary because now you don't know where these drones are going. And yes, okay, this is a large public event, but it's also in a heavy, dense apartment building areas. These drones can fly and scope out anything. This could be used as a tactic to find out whomever they're looking for. This is the prime time to use the drone surveillance to surveil, go, oh, he's in apartment 9K, 9K. Who do we see in there? Clip pictures taking of everyone that's in there. So now they know who 9K family is, who 9K everyone that's walking in and out the house. Because again, this is a time where people are low on guard. So they're gonna act free when they should not, right? So I'm sorry for Brooklyn. I'm sorry that this is happening to Brooklyn, but like we speak, sis, I'm mad at y'all. I'm mad at y'all that y'all are not picking up the mantles of our ancestors. And granted, oh, I come into this country at this particular time, I don't know. But you know how to read, You see injustice and you allow injustice. You close your eyes, put your head down, do what you got to do, party when you got to party. But when it comes down to community work and making sure your children are safe, you don't want to do that. And then you blame them. Or it's their fault that this is happening and that is happening. Actually, it's our fault. We're not putting in motions things that we need to because maybe we're afraid. But whatever it is, it's hard. And I don't know. Were you at Carnival?
Absolutely not. But
Brother Tad, were you out there shaking them
absolutely
rumps?
not. Absolutely not. And I'm glad you mentioned, it's no longer the same because, I know my Caribbean brothers and sisters not to be down with the zesty. Now, as of late, it's been a lot of big and zesty going on at that parade. So I don't want no parts of that.
Party man them.
Oh,
Mm.
Tad, you know it.
Batsy and Chichi. And lately this whole Chichi area is the women are, and granted, we all have friends. But what these young people are doing in these streets, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Sister Marie said about the over policing. She said it's going down in Beemore. Yes. Shout out to Brother Darren Muhammad. If you listen to him, I get my 411 on what's happening in Beemore from Brother Darren Muhammad. But yeah, this is problematic. They have legal representation in the streets.
Mhm.
The great attorney at war, Automatics, used to say, um, law should be taught from kindergarten through the end of your collegiate years because it is something that affects every aspect of your life and yet you know nothing about it.
Right.
So and we might play a clip again later on of him, but check this out. We're going to continue with this vein and then we'll get my brother Tad's comments after this and brother Black's. So hold on, family. Here we go. Continue over policing. Let's go.
Of a sci-fi movie, robots appearing in the city's underground.
Fox 6's Richard G. Cobus shows us how the NYPD says this new tech will help with public safety.
To some strap hangers, it may look like something you'd find wandering around your local Stop and Shop.
It's really weird. What is it?
Weird, maybe. But this RoboCop, well, it's so much more than that.
We're taking existing technology, cameras, being able to communicate with people, and we're placing it on wheels.
Behold the NYPD's newest Crime Stopper, K5 Autonomous, a security robot that will soon patrol the Times Square 42nd Street subway station.
We will continue to stay ahead of those who want to harm everyday New Yorkers.
Mayor Eric Adams unveiling K5 today underground, part of his new push to increase law enforcement technology in the country's largest transit system. The rollout comes despite crime in the city's subways, down 4.5% compared to last year, according to police.
We are taking an expansive camera network in the subway system and adding to it.
The 400-pound, 5'3" K5 is nothing short of being high-tech. It's equipped with 4 cameras that will allow it to send back live video without audio to the police department. K5 will not use facial recognition technology either. It will patrol the subway station's mezzanine level, not the platforms. But some subway riders say they're a bit concerned about their invasion of privacy. Others appreciate another set of eyes, even if it's in robot form.
Well, I like that there are, even though they're not human eyes, that there are eyes that are following what's going on the platform.
I think that, yeah, it's an invasion of privacy because of us, the public, we don't agree to it. It shouldn't be put.
You can begin seeing K5 Autonomous as early as tonight, roaming around the city subways with a human officer from midnight to 6 a.m. That officer will be introducing the robot to riders. It'll then get to know its surroundings for the next 2 weeks before becoming an official member of the NYPD Transit Unit for the next 2 months. We're in the Times Square subway station. Richard G. Cobus, Fox 5 News.
Times Square is the crossroads of the world here in New York City. And again, family, they're saying that crime is down, and yet you have this eyes watching you everywhere. Now, One of the reasons why I'm seriously worried about this is because we got too many Karens out here. I can just see it now. Some drunk Karen on the train, and some brother is standing by himself, minding his own business, and she pushed the button. He tried to rape me. I'm serious. This is crazy. This is nuts. So I see these Billy Bobs, Sister Marcia. You can see these Billy Bobs out here. You know, a sister don't give them no time of day. You know they getting their feelings when we ignore them. Oh, she tried to rob me. She offered me sexual favors. I can see it now. I can see it now.
And look how they point out that the technology has no audio. This is very important because if they can't hear what's going on, they're still going to take someone who's lighter's position versus me that's like, yo, this person, yada, yada, yada. Oh, no. No, you look like you were in the wrong. And we don't take surveillance pictures, but then why are you roaming? If you're not taking pictures of each and every individual that you come across, why are you roaming? What kind of safety are you providing? I'm not sure that these people are actually telling us the truth. Well, listen, I absolutely know people they are not telling us the truth because I watch these sci-fis. I watch these sci-fis, I read these sci-fis, and I know what's coming down the pike for us. And we're just not prepared. We don't have the military science. Individually, we may know how to keep ourselves safe.
I like what Brother Kevin just said. He said, now, what did I say? New York City, NYPD is the blueprint for policing around the world. He says it's ironic because last week, all of the police departments in Charleston area were testing drones.
North Carolina?
South Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina.
Charlotte. But when I was in
Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. While I was in Charlotte, they had these little drone bots going around, and I was like calling my girlfriend, like, yo, should I be afraid? She was like, stop it. You're too paranoid. Have fun. You're on vacation. I'm like, but why is this thing following me? And she's like, no, it's just cleaning the streets.
Nah, I'm good. Sure. Brother Blacksmith, your thoughts on this extreme or aggressive policing?
Just a foreshadowing of everything we've already predicted, brothers and sisters. What I would say to that is that with every harder tactic or harsher tactic that they push, the more it shows how much they really losing grip. So while you think they holding on to an oily substance. That's where they at.
Sister Vanessa, I like what she said. She says, today I was listening to a lecture by Dr. Joy DeGruy that she did in 2020, titled Karen Needs to Go to Jail. She was talking about white women use 911 to pretend to be in distress to get black people murked. I'm telling you, I see it now, Brother Ty, your thoughts.
As Sister Marcia said, we've seen this all in sci-fi. We've seen it on RoboCop. In fact, we see it on Black Mirror. And this is surveillance. This is a violation of our constitutional right to privacy. They tell you because you're in the public places, but we, the people, controls the laws that govern our society and what goes on in the public. And if we don't want it, we shouldn't have it. Nonetheless, we're not asked. You know, it's a tyrannical government. This is why they want to come take the guns. And the surveillance is to watch anybody that may even consider organizing against the powers that be. In fact, Joe Biden has a new Second Amendment group that are working on laws for guns, you know, for U.S. citizens. The ironic part is that everybody who's a part of the organization are anti-gun. But if we understand the Second Amendment is in place for these very things that we're dealing with right now, for a tyrannical government, not for a noisy neighbor, not for somebody you don't get along with at work. It is for a tyrannical government. And the Constitution tells you that when the government operates in any form that's against your interests, you have a right to overthrow this government. They're aware of that. I don't know why more law enforcement aren't aware of that, because many say they swore to uphold the Constitution, but how many people have read the Constitution? Or do they read an abridged version of the Constitution, which means a condensed small version of the Constitution? Because the Constitution tells you that you can legally own whatever weapon that the United States military own. So you can own a tank, you can own a rocket launcher, anything they have. You can own a flamethrower, a taser, any weapon they have. You legally,
absolute facts.
Right, you legally have the right to own that, and it can't. Your rights can't be trampled on. However, they create this narrative because many people don't read. They control the information. I think it was in 1904 that one of the Rockefellers, I don't know if it was David or Nelson, but they took over the education system with their money and dumbed the whole country down because they didn't want a nation full of thinkers. They wanted a nation full of workers, since they was in a revolution, the Industrial Revolution age. And they didn't want people to think. They just wanted you to work. That's why a few generations ago, Grandpa could have a job working in a factory with no education and take care of the whole family. He could take care of Grandma, take care of the kids, own a home, buy a car. But they said this is not enough to keep them dumb. We got to get everybody working so we can make everybody pay. So they somehow moved Grandma out the house, and now she got to work. Then the kids got to work. So they come up with summer youth employment. We're going to tax everybody. But Benjamin Franklin said taxation without representation is tyranny. Who asked you if we wanted to spend billions of dollars on police surveillance? Who asked us if we wanted to spend billions of dollars on people who are not even from this country, using our hard-earned tax money? Meanwhile, many of us are working 2 and 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Everybody in the house got to work. Let's bring in some type of income just so we can keep the lights on. Meanwhile, they got all of these government set-asides for people who never set foot on this soil. But somehow they get to spend our tax money. But why is that? Because they want to condition them that this is the greatest place in the world. Historically, as Black people, we know that this is not. I mean, it's one of them. It's a good place to be now, based on your mindset and your perspective. Because I tell you, I done been to Africa. I ain't been to no Caribbean countries, but I've been to Africa, and they ain't got no welfare. You got to move your feet or you don't eat.
Facts.
Ain't no going to face-to-face recertifications.
They ain't got them in the Caribbean, as far as I know. There are no social services. The United States, I don't know about Europe, but the United States is primed with social services. That's why people flock here. I don't know if I ever told any of y'all this story, but when my grandmother passed away, I had a cousin. Oh, I have a cousin. She's still my cousin.
Wait, Sister Marcia.
Okay.
Before you tell that story, because I know where you're going with this, and it's going to parlay into what we're going to talk about in the next segment. So I want to save that because I want to keep it cohesive. Now, keeping in line with over policing, check out this video here, family. Check this out, and we'll come back.
Put your hands behind your back.
For what? Whoa, he didn't even do nothing.
For what?
Yo, y'all wildin'. Oh, nah. Yo, nah. Yo, chill. Yo.
What's up with you, bro? What's up with y'all niggas, bro? No, bro. Come here. Give me a hand, bro.
Oh, nah, that's crazy.
What's up with you, bro?
Yo, chill. Yo, nah. That's grimy. Nah, that's grimy.
What's up with y'all? Oh, this nigga is crazy in my nuts, bro.
Yo, nigga didn't even do nothing, bro. And you punch him. Yo, that's crazy, bro.
Bro, what's up with you?
Yo,
bro?
nigga didn't do nothing to you, bro.
What's up with you, bro?
Yo, Trav, I got it all on camera, bro.
Bro.
Now you violated, bro. Yo, why are you still tasing him, bro?
Bro, put your hands behind your back. For what?
So you see this over aggressive policing. This a bunch of knockoff simps. You know that my grandson, Tad grandson, could whoop the tail out of both of them. However,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That video really got on my nerves. That really got on my nerves. And this is where we're at. And now places like DC, Baltimore, and other places, they are looking to hire some of these migrants to join law enforcement agencies. Now, if they're given automatic white status, the mindset of white supremacy continues. Neither one of those flakamos was Caucasian, but they was out there rumbling like they was against this black man.
And Sister Keisha, I want to add that just watching the video, you can tell if the brother really wanted to, he could have roughed the both of them up.
Come on.
He could have slammed the both of them and bounced. And imagine if his homie put the camera down and jumped in. They would have got away. They would have got away. But unfortunately, we've been conditioned to be cowards. You know, we've been conditioned to rely on the same system that's holding us back to distribute justice. We've seen what went on with so many officers that have murdered so many black men. This is just the beating. Because we see that when black men get murdered, the worst that will happen is they'll lose their job and get moved over to the fire department. We see that, and they get to keep their seniority and their pension and live happily ever after. I mean, even the sucker that killed Tamir Rice was hired in another police department in another county. I mean, we really have to take it upon ourselves to defend and protect ourselves and stop running around with this victimized mentality that we can't beat them, they can't beat us. Please don't listen to Killer Mike. Please don't listen to Killer Mike. And Sister Marcia, I would definitely have to respectfully disagree when you said we can't fight them. You know, that we don't have the quote unquote military science, because military science based on whose philosophies, based on theirs, we're the children of Hannibal of Carthage. We didn't need all that might to beat them. I mean, not to cut you off, but my point is that we got to remind our people that we can beat them. As we seen, if that brother had felt inclined to, he could have knocked both of them dudes out. You seen him hitting them. It's like a little girl punching him in the face. He should have been knocked out as many times they were sitting them, punching them, kicking them, because they fat, they lazy, and they soft. And those are the ones who hide behind the badge and the gun, because the brother didn't appear to be doing anything that warranted that excessive force. I hope he gets some justice. I hope he get a few dollars. But we got to get back into the mind state that we're in charge of our justice. You put your hands on me, I'm hitting you back. Especially if you're quote unquote over policing. Because now look what happened when his reinforcements came. They didn't even know the story, but they decided to jump in, punch him, kick on him, and beat him. And we have to take our destiny in our own hands and start standing up for ourselves. Stop looking for Al Sharpton and all these other people. Because ain't nobody coming to help us.
Nobody coming to save us.
I agree. And when I'm saying military science, I'm also talking about organizing. That's part of military science. So that's I will never say, I know our people are beyond weak. We're just fearful right now. And we fear organizing too. And that's part of the military science that I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about the brute strength. We have that.
Let's call it organizing it. Let's just call it organizing.
All right.
When our folks,
but it falls in that same category. Let's just be factual about that.
Yeah. No, I get it, because as soon as our people hear military science, the first thing they think about is weapons and self-defense. And yeah, we need that. But first we have to organize. We have to identify the problem before we can even come up with solutions and strategies to approach the problem. You know, when our folks hear military science, That's the thing that scared them. And one thing I realized about our people, you got to baby feed them. You got to spoon feed them. You can't give them too much too fast.
We've been spoon feeding people for quite too long, and we're not moving forward. We're standing in place. So I'm not sure how long you're going to keep. Oh, here's a little teaspoon. We have bigger spoons in our kitchen.
Let me say it like this. It's been time for that to stop. Long time ago. About 5 years ago was long ago. So,
but we did stop it. We can't negate the efforts of the Black Panther Party, Deacons for Defense, and so many other groups that have organized. And we seen what happened. We got infiltrated. Why? Because of something we're going to talk about later on in the show too. False leadership.
But wouldn't that be part of military science and vetting out people? Instead of bringing in, because you're so hungry and you need people. So everybody comes in, you're just like, yeah. Now we got bodies, but we're not filtering out those folks that's here on a different agenda. And we have to be smart enough.
Because we're supposed to have counsel. That's the purpose of elders. And not just old people, not the elderly, real certified warrior, battle-tested jegnas and warriors, just straight up warriors. Jegnas and jollies is what we need. But unfortunately, people who weren't on the battlefield, who looked out the window, and now that the smoke is clear, they come out and act like they was on the front line. And we know they wasn't. I see it on the street level all the time. We in 2023, and I see dudes act like they was really getting busy in the 90s, and I know they wasn't. Like my dude, I was there. You was in the house. Stop lying to the kids who weren't there. That's the same thing that's going on in this movement. You got elderly coming out posturing as elders, and they know they ain't really put no work in because they don't even got a track record. They still trying to get on TikTok, quoting Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Amos Wilson. And we're in a whole new paradigm. Come on, man. We got to be the elders that we revere so much. But everybody acting soft. Everybody like the eloquency of these poverty pimps. Let's just call them pimps with dashikis.
Charlatans, pimps with dashikis. I like that.
Let's keep it above. But it's on us. The onus is on us. Because when me and Sister Keisha and Brother Ashe, we was vetting people and we telling people we not rocking with them, and we were approaching people. People was calling us troublemakers. When Brother Ashe approached Dr. Umar Johnson on some man-to-man stuff. You know what I'm saying? People act like Brother Ashe was a troublemaker. Why? Because we're not glamored by your fancy words. We not giving it to the rhetoric because we see past that. So when the brothers say, yo, I donated, what's up with the school? How's it coming along? Not even what's up with it, like I'm gonna punch you in the face. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm questioning because I have a vested interest.
And because he's wrong, he's going to take you as a problem person. Oh, this guy is bringing problems into the picture. But look, that's when people are wrong. They deflect.
That's one dude I'm talking about. We see it amongst so many elders who don't get along.
That's right.
This is why we can't organize. One elder, you'll have an event over here, then you have an event in Queens, you have an event in Harlem, and we know the African-centered community is a very small community. Why aren't we working together? We keep telling people on the ground we need to practice unity, but leadership ain't even practicing unity. And that's because we as the people are not holding them to the fire. Same way we tell the people, don't just go pull a ballot and cast your vote for leadership, but we do the same thing.
Yep.
Depending on what leaders in town that week.
You're right.
But I'm going to step up my soapbox real quick because I don't want to go too far.
Facts.
But we really have to harness our own power and stop looking for other people to do what we can do ourselves.
100. And when that brother was being attacked by those two maggots, it brought me back to Brother Damian Pickett from the Montgomery Riverboat co-captain or lead deckhand. But listen to what the young brother who swam across the river to help his older brother. Listen to what he said. Exactly what Brother Tad and Brother Ashe have been saying on this platform many times. And what we've been saying. Yo, here we go. I'm going to shut up. Here we go.
Shut. The lead deckhand, Damian Pickett, seen here in his white uniform, telling us how the altercation last month in Montgomery first began. So you're on the boat, You're trying to dock. Just tell us what was going on.
It was just a lot of people that was in the way of us docking, and the boats just wouldn't move. We could have docked, but we would end up hitting a couple of those boats and be responsible for it.
This illegally parked boat blocking the city's riverboat from docking.
Those guys parked there were told not to leave it there, and they left it there.
Crew members making several attempts to ask the owner to move.
Everybody's yelling, "Could y'all move y'all boat?" By the captain's order, we got off and moved the boat. 4 steps to the right. That's it. Words was changed, and I was like, I'm just doing my job. After we dock, we don't mind y'all staying there, but not at this time while we're trying to dock.
What exactly were they saying to you at this time?
Just some nasty words, cuss words that I don't like, violence. And alcohol involved. They got beers in their hands while they're on the dock. So I would try my best to ignore them.
What's going through your mind at that time?
The people of the boat, their safety. Getting them in, getting everybody off, and getting them home. Plus, I'm thinking about his boat also. Because if our boat hits his boat, it's going to sink.
A shirtless man confronts him.
One guy, he's been there before. He knows the rules and regulations. That's why he was asking me, where's the sign?
Then another man becoming aggressive. Damien tying his hat, breaking for what's filmed.
This man just put his hand on me. I'm like, if this is my job, but I'm still defending myself at the same time. So he touched me, I'm like, it's on.
Just seconds, several people outnumbering Damien. One woman seen kicking him while he's down. Rushing to help protect the crew member, 2 of Damien's co-workers, including longtime friend Ra.
Me walking up to the guy and asking him, well, why did you all jump on him like that? And he referring to who you are. You know, and a lot of shit was going on.
And diving into the scene, 16-year-old Aaron. What was it that you saw that made you get in that water? Have you ever swam that fast before?
When they first started hitting on him, no one helped. I couldn't just watch and sit around and just let him get beat on while everybody else just recording.
In over a decade of
like he said, he couldn't just sit around and watch while everybody else is recording. Again, family, circumstance. Forget all of the hypes. Forget all of it. Circumstance will make you react, and you react based on who you are. And watching people and their reactions will let you know who are real ones and who ain't. This 16-year-old young king said, y'all recorded? I got to get over there. He said he never swam that fast before in his life. So again, circumstances. And now we're coming up on serious circumstances. Your mindset, that's why when I played those news clips, I asked the audience to pay attention to the commentary of the citizens on the street. In those commentaries, we saw who were real ones and who wasn't. So when it all goes down and you out in these streets, you never know who you're going to come amongst. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to see that interview. I happened to be getting myself ready for the morning, and I saw that. I said, I got to record that real quick, and so our people can see it. If you follow Thorough Black Talk on Instagram, you will get to see more clips of that nature. Brother Black, your thoughts?
My thoughts on the video and
on the 16-year-old.
Oh, come on. That I love him. If I ever saw him and I had money in my pocket, man, I give him a stack. Like, yo, this for representing, man. Yo, you know, and go spend that to tell your family I love them too as a result of raising you. And oh man, I wish that was my son. I want to be like him.
Well, he is your son in the African sense. You know, you empower him. And if he's listening to you, he's grateful that you even said those words. Don't ever forget that these children are our children. We have to take responsibility where they fail, because When they fail, it's us, and when they do right, it's us too.
Brother Tad, your perspectives on what this young king was talking about over here.
You know, I couldn't agree more. I mean, come on, he was the real MVP. And I think everybody saw that in the video because before the dock, before the boat dock, before everybody came, he sprung into action, and that's what we're supposed to do. That is what we're supposed to do on a consistent basis. I mean, Brother A. Rashid, Doggy Diamonds, those are my dudes from the soil. They'll tell you how we used to operate in the hood, in our community, when pilgrims and foreigners come and violate. The way the code was taught to us back when we were young people. But what happened is people have fell victim to this new age programming. This new
We used to dig them pockets.
dig pockets, bust mouths. You're not gonna come in our community and violate. You just not. You don't have our permission. Nobody. Even if you one of us and you're in our community and you running amok and you acting foul, you got dealt with by the men in the community. We don't care how tough you're supposed to be because the real tough men stood up for the community. You know, but things have changed now and they done effeminized so many men that for a man to stand up, be heterosexual, grab his sack and say, yo, this ain't happening on my watch. He's toxic masculinity. How dare he stand up? That's that patriarchy he's talking. Nah, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said it takes male masculine muscle to remove our enemies from our community, to deal with this thing we got to deal with. You know, to see the brother, what was that in the Bronx that those cops just beat that brother up? And he really didn't beat him up. They just jumped on him because those hits was light. And it's just to show you that these dudes are cowards. But this is part of the programming, sis, to always remind people that we have to stay in a subservient position. They never want to see us in a position of dominance. No matter what movie you watch, whether it's Roots, Django, even Hoodlum, you know, we can't kill the real people in power because then that gives the idea to the next generation that these people can be beat. And they don't want to get, look, we know that they got to create movies for them to be able to beat us, whether it's boxing or anything, because they never tell the true story. If they were so strong, we'd have been out of here because that's been their plan, to exterminate us through AIDS, through guns, through drugs, through so many things. But they can't, just by virtue of who we are. But not only can they not destroy us, we have to recharge and rebuild ourselves to be stronger. This is why they got machines. This is why they got AI, because this is the only thing that can compete with us to keep us down. Because as you said, sis, I've seen it. I'm trying to remember where I read it, but they are giving migrants grants and subsidies and all kind of benefits to join law enforcement.
Come on.
And we got to remember, these are still human beings with their preconceived notions about who we are as Black folks based on the images that they see on television and the things they hear on the radio. Because all this society does is promote the worst of us. So they criminalize us. I want everybody to get a book by Dr. Khalil Gibran Muhammad. It's called The Condemnation of Blackness. It's a very, very powerful book. Dr. Khalil Gibran Muhammad once was the director of the Schomburg Institute for Culture and Research, and he's also the great-grandson of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think people should really read that book. It's powerful. Read that and read the book, The New Jim Crow. Those two books will bring you up to speed on what we're dealing with right now from an intellectual level, but it deals with grassroots movement and common everyday people, how laws and systems are in place to keep us oppressed. Not saying that they always work. They always work when you surrender your power, but nonetheless, they are in place. It's like a fly trap. I mean, it's like a spider web. It's only going to catch you if you get in the web. If you recognize the web, you know, don't go in the web. That's all. But many people
say this real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, real quick. I just want to say, Tad, two movies that came to mind when, as you spoke about the first dynamic about black manhood and how it used to be when it was Crooklyn days. You know, gangsters wasn't gangsters for the sense of being gangsters. They was gangsters because they had to be. But two movies that I thought of was Always Outnumbered.
Yes.
You saw that movie?
Larry Fishburne.
Oh man, I love that movie so much, brother.
I read the book first, then I
okay.
Always Outgunned.
Okay. And Avatar, so that even the underdog has his day. There are a lot of things that I talk about that say that they really not as powerful as they are. And I know sometimes everybody laugh and, you know, joke and sniggle when I say these things, but when we get our superpowers back, it's on and popping, my G. I'm going to mute myself because I know I got background out here.
Facts, my brother. Now, you know, keeping in with what we talking about, there has been a myriad of protests that have been going on throughout the country as it relates to the influx of the migrant population. So as we continue on moving into the next segment, let's get into it. We'll play this clip and we'll come back and discuss. Here we go, family.
Come into a community and dump people in our community like this. This is not fair.
The city's pressing migrant crisis in the spotlight now more than ever, and Southside residents are fired up over plans to put up tents. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. Tonight, a meeting on the issue was filled to capacity, and many community members are frustrated that they were not let in. Casey Crona is live in Roseland with the latest. Casey.
Dawn and Scott, community members want to make their voices heard on this subject, and tonight many weren't able to. On the table is a proposal from Mayor Brandon Johnson that would place hundreds of migrants in makeshift camps in a former Jewel parking lot. At Sheldon Heights Church of Christ, an open dialogue on the migrant crisis hosted by Alderman Ronnie Mosley was packed inside and out.
First of all, they definitely chose this venue for a reason. They chose a small venue so that they could discourage the community from being able to show up.
With fall and winter fast approaching, Mayor Brandon Johnson is looking to move migrants from police stations into what the city is calling winterized base camps.
This is essentially like a Band-Aid to a gunshot wound. You are putting a Band-Aid on a huge problem at hand.
One potential site, the former Jewel parking lot at 115th and Halstead.
I think that's a bad idea.
They want to push this out of sight and out of mind.
But it's coming with pushback, many calling on the city's leaders to focus on the needs of taxpayers.
We are the residents of this community, and we demand that they do not put these people here. They're not even following the rules in the police station. What makes us think that they're going to follow the rules here?
Residents tell us they are in need of grocery stores, mental health facilities, and housing for homeless individuals. By the end of this year, the migrant crisis will have cost taxpayers $250 million. Reporting live in Roseland, Casey Cronis, Fox 32.
Hey, Sister Keisha, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
When people say that black people aren't fighting back and ain't standing up, that's not true. Just because you don't see it, there's a reason why you don't see it. But we'll get into that. Brother Black, your commentary.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to say this, that I saw something a few days ago, and I should have sent it to y'all, but neither here nor there. I saw something that said a few days ago that the average immigrant is getting $2,200 worth of tax money, while the average American citizen born and raised here, whether they foreign parents or African Americans or people who've been here generations already, are making only $1,400. So, you know, and that's just what's on paper, because, you know, they're giving, because a lot of these dudes on the low that's come, especially from Mexico and Central America, are military aged men. And it's a bona fide fact that most of them are gang members wherever they're coming from, especially MS-13.
Right, because Brother Tad gave us the 411 last week on that, right, Brother Tad?
Yes, sir. That's what I was going to agree with Brother Blacksmith. You know, I'm talking about working with these folks, even during acts of violence, when I called the police and they take them off the property, these people will be back in a couple of hours, right back. And I'm talking about acts of violence. And these aren't citizens. These people don't even have their status yet. So why aren't they being deported? Because I promise you, if it was a Black Caribbean or something who papers wasn't right, you best believe he's getting shipped out of here. I think on my third trip to Ghana, I think it was my third trip, maybe it could even been my fourth trip to Ghana, they had a brother from here, and the two Urugos escorted him from JFK Airport all the way back to Ghana. All the way back to Ghana. They deported him.
What we don't talk about is how many African people under President Obama were deported. Like they went into Harlem and the Bronx and scooped them all up like this and said, "Go home. You're not allowed."
A lot of people don't know.
My niece is an immigration attorney, and she clearly says that all attorneys refer to him as deporter in chief because he was deporting so many people.
And at that, he was deporting us. He was deporting Africans. He weren't deporting the Mexicans, the Russians, or whoever. He was deporting African people in droves. He may have deported the largest amount of African people than any other sitting president ever.
Facts.
Ever. And we as Black folks don't talk about the policies that he had put in place against us. We talk about the larger policies that affect us, but the direct policies, yo, this is some cuckoo.
Well, that's why you have advanced policing now. Because
most Black people love
policies.
Most Black people love Obama because of the love he showed to his husband on camera.
Stop talking about my president, Black. Stop talking about my president.
But for real, Sister Marie says, you know, they moving into houses right in where she lives, where they live. You know, she see them influxing into the school. She see it. It's that OG brother. He said Black people should not vote for either of these political parties. I myself have never ever voted for none of these devils because the voting system is a complete sham. 100.
I say
100.
Yo, on some for real. You saw, Sister Keisha, I sent you that article where they're trying to say, oh, we're gonna use the college dorm rooms in New York City as housing centers. So wait a minute. I pay for my child to go to this university, and do they lose their room and board? What's happening? Is it discounted? Is it for free?
You get free room and board.
Right.
I'm still paying college loans.
But see, check this out. This is how they do what's called controlled conflict. Because now for the migrants, for the immigrants, and this is in no defense of them, because I get it. If you got a better opportunity somewhere else, then by all means, you go there. But look at how they're using our money to take care of them and expect us not to be upset. But this is how they pit one group against another because they're the puppet masters. They're taking money from us, giving it to somebody else. And then the people who's beneficiaries of our money are going to be like, well, you know, they hate you over there. Them Black folks hate you. The Americans hate you. And it caused an internal conflict because they put them in our community. They're not where these people are. So I'm not mad at migrants per se. I'm mad at the system and our people who've been asleep for so long because none of this stuff we're talking about is new. We've been talking about this for centuries now. I can't even say decades or generations.
But we can talk about our own generation. We can talk about what we saw our parents go through. Yes. I'm not going to disagree about my generation either on being dumb. But we can talk about what we saw our parents go through. And even our parents spoke about, like, my parents are parents came in, right? But people in my neighborhood would talk about us like, oh, y'all came in, your parents are stealing our jobs. We used to have a factory down the road. We don't have that factory anymore because your parents came here. I didn't understand the context of what people were saying until I got older and understood the development of how policies affect every individual. And if we start looking at policies and how it affects us, we can do different things and we can play the book to our power. But we're not playing anything to our power. We're just like appeasing to the, oh, we're so powerless, but we're so powerful.
You know what? I'm gonna say real quick before Keisha, you go to the clip. It's all y'all fault because y'all ain't let them immigrants stay in your house for that rent money that Adams was giving up a few months ago. So that's why we
He
got.
didn't give no money. Let's be fact. He didn't give no money because I'd have been the first one. I'd have been the first one on the list. Like, yo, give me that money. Run that check. Run that check right here. Because my household would be happy.
Real quick, I just want to say this real quick. Like New York, Chicago has all white, all mostly black and Latino neighborhoods. Why didn't they put those immigrants in the Latino neighborhoods? I'm talking neighborhoods. I'm not talking, 1 or 2 stores and like 18 houses. I'm talking about whole neighborhoods. Why didn't they put them there? I'm convinced that this is another way to have a crisis. Rahm Emanuel has always been known for saying that. He was the mayor. He was Obama's chief of staff and went back to Chicago after he got tossed out of that job for some corruptness, and then went to Chicago. And that's when Chicago was on fire because they gave people on the south side, north side vouchers to go live in after they knocked down all the projects in Chicago. So this is why these things happen.
Greeny Green and the rest of them.
Oh, there you go. I'm done with it.
And two, staying on Rom, that's ex-Mossad anyway. But anyway, let's listen to this clip because I'm glad Sister Marcia brought up that particular point. Now, this is how other folks take care of their own. You have a lot, as Brother Black just mentioned, a lot from who would identify rather as Latino. Where they peoples at to take care of them? You got a lot of people coming from the continent. The number one successful immigrant in this country is the Nigerian. Why you ain't helping your people? If you can be on the parkway waving your flag, you so proud. Your people is getting beat on the border. Where you at? Where you at? So I'm going to show you how other folks are doing, and then we'll come back and discuss and see where the problem lies. Here we go, Fanny. Let's get it.
Let's turn now to a new crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border as the number of Ukrainians seeking asylum grows by the day. The United States last month committed to accepting as many as 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, but has yet to establish a pathway. So many show up in Mexico, where the Department of
Who's coming through the Mexican border? Huh? Here we go.
Homeland Security has granted a special exemption for Ukrainians to enter the U.S. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez is there in Tijuana, Mexico.
They've come more than 6,000 miles. Ukrainian men, women, and children eat and sleep on the streets of Tijuana, others in tents.
This is your home for the next few days.
Yeah, that's all what I can bring with me.
But Anastasia Petu couldn't bring her parents, who live outside Kyiv.
You have hope that it will get better there.
Just hope, yeah.
Hope.
And pray.
Hope and pray.
Yeah.
Hope here comes in the form of a number, the one assigned by Ukrainian American volunteers to determine who's next in line to present themselves to U.S. border agents.
What number are you?
My number 1185.
This is where the encampment started. It's a bus station, the last bus station before reaching the U.S. border.
It's estimated more than 1,000 Ukrainians are camped here, just like thousands of asylum seekers from other countries, mostly Latin American and Caribbean, have done before. But unlike the Ukrainians, a controversial COVID policy known as Title 42 has largely stopped them from going further for the past 2 years. They feel for the Ukrainians, they tell us at this shelter. But Roxana Ruiz Ramirez of Honduras, who's been waiting 9 months to claim asylum, says gang threats have put her family in a life or death situation too.
También nosotros tenemos necesidad
You need help too. Necesitan ayuda también.
de ayuda.
But on this day at the border,
God bless Ukraine, God bless Mexico, and God bless America.
the celebration would come from a woman named Mila from Los Angeles, who met her 17-year-old grandson after he traveled alone for almost a month from Kyiv.
He's very, very happy that he is here on this land and, can be reunited with his family.
Without a quick legal way to directly enter the United States, the Ukrainians here say that getting a tourist visa to enter Mexico and then coming to the port of entry here is their best bet. We've watched several groups go through today, and more are on the way. Nora?
Manny Bojorquez on the border. Thank you.
So again, family, who's on the border? Who's coming through the Mexican border? Who's coming through the Mexican border? That's what I want to know. Who's
the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians.
The images that you're showing are people who look like us. That lady said she was number 1085 online.
Yeah.
Now, you had a Venezuelan who seemed to be President Biden's new favorite group. But we know this is political banter, a fodder. But she was waiting for 9 months, running from gang members. And the gangs is heavy. Brother Tyler laid it out last week. They coming through too. So she's still in encampments waiting. But you see what happens? The Ukrainian people coming for this. They coming for this.
You see how beautiful their tent and getup is? They have like the most luxurious, they're glamping. They are glamping while other folks have been sleeping on the ground, suffering on top of one another in little minute cages, dog cages. There was one time, a few months back that you showed, they were showing our people in like little dog cages and stuff like that. Come on now, they got a glamp. Come on. That's not fair. But we're not talking about that, right?
It's for the gram.
That's not what matters.
Just for the gram.
That's not what matters.
It's for the gram black.
Say that again. Say that again, please, brother.
I said it's just for the gram.
It's just for the gram.
I tell you, boy, these are some troublemakers. Y'all see the co-hosts? Y'all see they all of them troublemakers. But again, now remember I said there is an increase of over 900%. Let me say that again. Over 900% of illegal Chinese who are paying smugglers a minimum of $50,000 to bring them into the waters, and they will swim ashore. But when they get ashore, are they treated the same? And I want you to pay attention in this clip how Chinese organizations and businesses already taking care of their own. Keep in mind, remember when Nancy Pelosi took a trip to Taiwan and everybody was all in an uproar, right? Because Taiwan has always maintained that they are the original and true state of that area, number one. Number two, they have been spilling the secrets that we have been talking about here on Thorough Black Talk. China ain't all what it seems. And Africa and the Caribbean should be well aware that their economy isn't what it seems, and they have to rebuild it by hook or crook, one way or another. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Hello. Mandarin? I'm pretty sure. Hello. Hi. Yeah. Do you speak English? English?
Are you from China? Yeah. Yes. From China? China. There has been a 920% increase in illegal U.S. border crossings by Chinese nationals. What has caused this sudden flood of Chinese nationals fleeing China, putting their lives at risk, and paying smugglers up to $50,000 each just to escape into America? Now, these aren't impoverished people escaping some kind of a war-torn scenario where their country is in some sort of ruin or they're escaping extreme poverty or something like that. No, these are decidedly middle-class Chinese nationals that are being rounded up at the border here. They're either being caught or slipping through. And the question arises, why have we seen such a massive increase in the trafficking of Chinese across not only the southern, but also the northern borders of the USA? Well, first, let's go back to China. What you're seeing here is some footage that was taken a week ago in Beijing, outside of the Beijing US Embassy. Now, these queues that you see, these massive queues, are people that are lining up for their visa interviews. Now, for those of you who don't know how this works, I've been through this process myself, is when you want to apply for a visa to come to the USA, be it a tourist visa, a student visa, a work visa, whichever kind of visa that you're applying for, there's a very long process. It starts out with you setting things up online. You have to input all your personal information. It's a very, very long process. But once you've gone through all the online applications, submitting all your documents and, doing all of this and that, the next thing, you finally get to the point where you can then go for your visa interview. And that's what you're seeing here, people lining up for their interview. So what you do is you line up, you go inside, they take your biometrics, your fingerprints and all that kind of stuff. And then you get to see a consular official. And their job is to vet you, to make sure that you're not somebody trying to scam the system or illegally immigrate or something like that. And of course, if you have nothing to hide, it's a fairly straightforward process. I had to go there with my wife, and my wife had to have her interview separately, and I had my own interview, before we came to the States. But I remember while I was standing in line, the person in front of me, a Chinese national, was refused. Why he was refused, I can't say for sure. I know he was trying to get a student visa, and the consular lady, she looked at his documentation and said, I'm sorry, but I'm refusing your application today, and stamped, and he had to leave. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of why so many Chinese nationals are illegally crossing the borders into the USA right now, here's a word from today's sponsor.
Let me just fast forward this real quick. We don't even know what his sponsors is and what they doing. I just want y'all to get a clear understanding. The Chinese nationals are no longer willing to wait for that visa process. And so they've decided amongst themselves, we're going to pay smugglers to leave here after being free. Because remember, they had very strict lockdowns. And those lockdowns have recently been lifted. So now they saying, they won't catch us no more. So we getting the hell up out of here. And here we go. And it's also business opportunities that await you. Hold on. Here we go.
Outside of the Guangzhou consulate and other consulates within China, US consulates and embassies, so many people are trying to get out of China right now and go to the USA, especially since finally the COVID lockdowns are over and Chinese people can more or less freely travel again. But what if you're refused your visa like that poor chap that was in front of me in line? What if you don't qualify for a visa for whatever reason? And there are many reasons that you don't qualify for an American visa. They're too numerous to mention. What if you don't have the means, or what if you just don't want to go through the nightmare of applying for that visa? What if you just want to pay for it and get it done? What if you just want to pay some money and end up in the United States? Well, that's where all these illegal border crossings are coming from. You see, Chinese people aren't just striking it out on their own, heading to the USA to look for opportunity and arrive on the shores and figure things out. No, they already have people waiting for them there. They already have jobs waiting for them there. They already have opportunities that have been lined up for them. They just need to get there. Are these jobs, opportunities, or family members that they're going to go and meet in the USA are in one of the very large Chinese communities scattered all over the USA. You know, the Chinese diaspora, they've got Chinatowns all over the place. This is where they're headed, ultimately. And once they reach these Chinese communities where that job or that opportunity is waiting for them, the one they've already arranged before leaving China, or where they're going to go stay with family, well, then they can kind of blend in and live unmolested. But why this crazy increase all of a sudden? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The biggest one, of course, is that the lockdowns have been ended in China. This crazy situation where people were so controlled that they couldn't move or do anything, and they were confined to their neighborhoods, confined to their apartments during the whole COVID lockdown thing. It's over. Chinese people can freely travel again. So, of course, you're going to get a huge number of them leaving all at the same time. That's the biggest reason, number one. The second reason, of course, is the Chinese economy has taken a massive dive. And this is something that you wouldn't know about if you were to read official Chinese propaganda.
The economy is on a decline. Hence why they want to be in Africa. They have to rebuild their economy. But at what cost? Hence why they are in South America and the Caribbean. They are there to rebuild their economy. But at what cost? Because we've seen already many videos on various social media streams of Chinese in other nations terrorizing those citizens. Your thoughts, my brothers and sisters. Sister Marcia, what do you think? Remember, I said they taking care of their own.
As they should. We're the only ones that forget to take care of our own. We think, you know, the people that live in our house, or, you know, the people that we had Thanksgiving dinner with 10,000 years ago are the only ones that matters. You know, we have to take care of our family wherever they are. So they're doing what is right for their nation because they were raised on the idea of solidarity. They were raised on the idea of taking care of one another. Unfortunately, we were raised on the idea of going to buy, you know, Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Hermes and all of those other stuff that you actually can't afford. You know, you would have done better funding that money into your community one way or another, or into the continent, you know, adopting a place in the continent. And then right now, if we as a collective had funneled money into one area of the continent for ourselves, we would be so great right now, because we would have all these natural resources at our beck and call, but we have nothing. And so Chinese man, he goes over there, he goes make Chinese babies, and these Chinese babies are going to adopt to their philosophy, because they're going to be like, oh, the Chinese man is better than my black mommy, and my black mommy is nothing because my Chinese daddy is everything. That's what happens. The saga continues. We're the only fools that aren't learning, and we're still not taking care of each other. We won't give a token to our neighbors. So they're doing that, and their economy is busting because they can't collect from the US. All the debt, they paid off all the US debt. So the US can't pay them debt. So it's just a cycle, and the US has no more businesses to go in and invest in. There is no large, it's not like in the 70s and the 80s where they had the Macintoshes and what was that other product? There was another huge US product that went over there and started businesses. They no longer have that infrastructure anymore. So it's like, if I can't collect my debt, my citizens have to eat, and you have restrictions to get my citizens over there, get on a boat, go, you know, spend 10 hours on the sea, or what? How long? Now, realistically, how long are they staying on the sea to get here, and where are they going? Are they going to Europe first, stopping, resting, and then moving forward? Like, I really want to know how these people, like, how are the Ukrainians getting to Mexico?
That's a question for them. I don't know. But they showing up on them shores.
Right. So, like, how are they doing these things?
I can answer. That's an easy answer.
Oh.
You ready? Listen, if you are fighting, come on, you're fighting the number one superpower. You're a small country. You're Texas, and you're fighting the whole United States, including Alaska. All you're doing at this point is disguising all of the other things that are happening that need to be finally washed out of Ukraine, including those tunnels, the biggest tunnels in the world, and where, because remember, Ukraine is in Central Europe, so you can go up, middle, side, down, and you in just about any regional place from you to get to one port to another. As far as that's concerned, in this country, with the immigrants, this was all made to happen. I just recently got the book called Rules for Radicals, in that you use projection on everything and blame what you're doing on your ops. That's what we going
I
through.
feel you. Um, not to digress, but I remember, Brother Black, you were telling us about cities under the grounds in Georgia and that area. I just recently saw something. I was trying to pull it up, but for some reason it's not working. Where it's now being talked about these underground cities where Black people once lived under those grounds. So again, Brother Black already let y'all know what it was. He already told y'all, and now mainstream media is talking about it. Brother Ty, your thoughts on the influx of these Ukrainians and Chinese nationals? Again, keep in mind that a lot of Black people lost employment who didn't agree with taking the jab, and those positions need to be filled. These people need jobs. And again, you heard in the clip where the reporter was saying these people are coming, jobs already in hand. One of the most prominent fields you can get into, and I just signed up for a class, a free class, and that's cybersecurity. So they are looking for individuals. Again, who's going to man these drones and these robocops and things? I don't know. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Brother, tell your thoughts.
If we could remember a few years back, they were giving Chinese families about 50 grand just to move here. As soon as they got here, they were already setting them out with $50,000 grants. This is chess, not checkers. They playing the long game. This inoculation about these jabs and pokes and stuff like that are literally killing folks. God bless my mother being one of them. She didn't pass the COVID, she passed messing with them folks in jabs. It's a nasty game. And people don't take it serious and they think it's a joke, because sure enough, there was a report about a week or two ago that the asylees don't have to take the jab. Unfortunately, our children do. What is that about? What is that about? Why don't they have? Are they exempt? Like, help me understand something.
They
Your
exempt.
replacement.
Right, exactly. Dr. Claude Anderson told us that decades ago. And I remember he cried because he said, we just don't get it, that they're really looking to replace us. And this is what we see. And again, like I said, 100 years ago, they did the same trick. You always hear these Southern Europeans talk about their grandparents coming in, on the Hudson River and seeing the Statue of Liberty. They knew they was free. And with that narrative, they have you think that the Statue of Liberty was for immigrants and it was for Black folks. By the artist Bartoli. He gave it to Black folks. There's a whole history and there's a rewriting. There's a revisionist history going on. They're rewriting the story and then creating the narrative to hypnotize people of what's really going on. Because people did lose their job. I was laid off for a little while for not letting them poke me up. This is a nasty game they playing. But folks got families to feed. Bills still got to get paid. And they're taking our taxes to make us finance our replacements. How sick is that? But again, they already took your weapons. They already quelled the Second Amendment talk, because this was the purpose of the Second Amendment. First thing I can say what I want to say. Second Amendment is I got the power to back it up. That's what the First Amendment is, freedom of speech. Say what you want to say. Say what's on your mind. Let the people know how you feel. And then the Second Amendment is you have a weapon to back it up, because the people that came here just left a tyrannical government, a system where they couldn't practice and be free. And granted, it was ideal, but we know idealism isn't realism. We stand on realism over here. I say that all the time. However, they keep us caught up in these conversations about unarming yourself. And I remember years ago, I seen a Jewish lady said this country is being run like Nazi Germany. She said because the same rhetoric she hears here, she heard in Nazi Germany about register your guns, and the government came in and knocked on everybody's door who registered their guns, said, yo, we just gonna hold your guns for safekeeping. After they confiscated the guns from everyone, then they sent the Gestapo in, and you have nothing to defend yourself. And that's what's going on here. People voluntarily, a 9mm costs about $500, $600, $700 on the street. Why would I take a $25 gift card to Starbucks for something I paid $500, $600, $700 for? A hot cup of coffee ain't gonna keep nobody off my back. But our folks is
and even in the stores, it's like $1,300. That's the same price of a Louis whatever for all the sexy people that likes the Louis.
But that's
so like, why are we investing our monies in the wrong places?
Because we don't know no better. And it's not all of us. It's not all of us. Because some people are smart enough not to let everybody know everything that they know. You know what I mean? Granted, we're on the internet, but this is just to scratch the surface, to agitate the folks' consciousness, to give them something to think about, to give them a reference point to go research. You know what I'm saying? Don't take our word for it. Google's your friend. Now you got AI. AI will tell you everything. ChatGPT will tell you everything up to 2021. Go look it up. We're not making none of this stuff up. But then the thing is, once you get this information, how do you organize it and build a strategy and really link with like-minded people to save yourself? Because they doing it real smooth.
You know, the thing I know many people say, well, I gotta build it by myself. You can't. You can't build anything by yourself. You need a team. You need a collective people, like Brother Tad said, that are like-minded, that have the same understanding and vision forward. Because without that, we just keep doing the same arrested development. And that's the cycle that we're in. We're not leveling up. We're just leveled. And we keep walking that same walk. We need to level up. Our ancestors have shown us too many pathways. We have history of Tulsa. We have history of the Deacons of Defense. We have history of Black Panthers. We have history, and we know how they transform stuff that we've produced. But we're not doing anything else. We're just living on that history.
Facts, sis. And but we are. Some are. And see, this is why propaganda must be pushed in our favor. This is where Black media comes in, right? Let me get Black's last thoughts and comments, because I know he got to cut out of here. So let me get his last commentary. Go ahead, Brother Black.
Anything you want me to cover in particular or anything like that?
The aliens in the center of the earth.
Now, what did Baba Ashwa Crazy tell you on Saturday? Dad, you didn't listen. I'm calling him now. You in trouble because
but check this out. Okay, that's a good starting point, because they may not be aliens. They may be entities that have already existed on this earth way before us, and I'm talking about us as melanated people. I don't know who's down there, but Agartha has many different types of entities, so that we don't call them aliens or human or a being of some sort. It's just like I was saying last week, there's different types of entities, not only in different environments but in different vibrations or frequencies, and that's why sometimes out the corner of your eye you may see somebody And then when you turn, they're not there. It's not actual, but you entered into another dimension, and that person is usually a guardian of yours. So whether there are actual entities who are on a third dimensional basis, like most of us are still, or not, they're everywhere. Like I said, in other dimensions, underground, maybe in some high canopy tree somewhere in forest we never visited, and things like that. So there are other entities on this earth already. Well,
I'm
I
glad
think
you
on you,
mentioned
brother.
that, Black, because I don't know, more and more now, I'm seeing a lot of more things in the corner of my eye. But
Right.
I know you got to cut out here, brother. We'll see you, Black, again next week.
I can stay on for until right on the hour, so
Oh,
we can
okay.
keep
All
going.
right.
Yeah, yeah. But thank
All
you
right.
for that moment, because it
Yeah.
allowed me to talk about something I've been asking for a few weeks now, and more in depth.
Yeah.
I listen.
Speaking of
Come on,
that,
y'all can go ahead. I'll just listen.
speaking of that, we had the pleasure of hanging out with Brother King Simon. Shout out to King Simon and King Simon Productions,
Salute to our
who
brother.
brought in
I love that
Baba.
sweater.
Yes, Baba Ashwa Crazy and Mama Mirwa are crazy. Brother Tad was on duty to pick them up and drop them off, and tell them about the event, Brother Tad.
Oh, the event was dope. And shout out to our brother Lair. That's our brother Lair with the Haru sweatshirt on, the sweatshirt hoodie on. Definitely fire. Brother Lair was in the place. But it was an honor and privilege, to pick up Baba Kwesi. The last time I saw Baba Kwesi was the last time that he was in New York. And he and I was joking about the last time he was here because it was freezing. I don't know if you had the picture, Sister Keisha, but even in the venue it was freezing. I had on a Sherlin that day. It was that cold. And this time it was just raining. That's why my voice is going a little bit. I was out. But it was definitely a privilege to see Baba, kick it with him again. I mean, Sister Keisha, you and I had the privilege of having that in-depth conversation when we were all in Atlanta, literally sitting at his feet, getting that knowledge. But it's always good to see our elders, see them continuing to work. And the whole purpose of this conversation in Black media is to not stop where the elders are, but for us to begin where they end. We supposed to take it a little further with a little more bravado, not replicate what's already been done, but come with a new paradigm, a new frame of reference, a new thought process, a whole new mindset. And it's not going to happen with us relying on other people. First, we have to rely on our own self. We have to build our own self-confidence and know that whatever goal we setting out to accomplish, we can achieve. Stop being discouraged by the narratives that we can't do certain things. And Baba Kwesi has shown us with the great accomplishments of our ancestors, building pyramids, putting systems of civilization in place for centuries, for millennia, might I say. We know ancient Kemet is thousands of years old before it even fell. So this is important because the basic things that we're asking for right now, we've accomplished that before. We just have to tap into that frequency. Like Brother Blacksmith said, there are energies and entities, whatever you want to call them, that are around us that function on a higher vibration. And we just got to tune in and tap into that. There's nothing that we cannot do on this planet. It is not. We have intentionally been dumbed down and taught to rely on things outside of ourselves. And if you don't take anything from tonight's conversation or anything that I ever shared with you, the power is always in you. Don't relinquish your power to anyone else. Anything that you want to do, you can accomplish. You tired of these folks with their foot on your neck? Well, get them up off you. Work out, exercise, eat right, get some courage, because anything can be conquered. The skies, the mountains, the seas. As quote unquote humans on this planet, we've conquered everything. We done broke science down to the smallest molecule and then explored some of the biggest mountains and pyramids. And man, I ain't gonna talk about it all night. I'm just saying, stop being suckers and cowards, man. Start believing in yourself. Stop adopting other people's narratives and draw from your own experience. Every conflict you ever had, every challenge you ever had, and you overcame. Dig into that place where you got the gumption to overcome those odds. And that's you as an individual. Now imagine what can be done collectively if we all adopt that mindset. And I'm gonna step off my soapbox. Go ahead, Brother Black.
Brother Todd, I want to ask you a real quick question.
Yeah.
Where are the elders on this FBA Aboriginal versus Pan-Africanism in New York City right now? Because that's something I never witnessed en masse when I was there. So I want to ask that question of somebody who seems tapped in.
You know, some elders see, I'm trying to say this respectful as possible. Some elders are all over the place. Some elders agree with FBA, some don't. It depends on who their audience is and what's their goal and what their narrative they're trying to promote. You know what I'm saying? So it's and that's why we have to become the new vanguard. That's why it has to be a paradigm shift. We have to stop relying on others. Elders give us counsel, but they don't give us the bottom line. They don't give us the solution because we have our own brain. We have our own experience. Many of them are living in the pastime paradise on what they did in the 60s. We are no longer there. We have to get modern solutions for modern problems. I mean, as Dr. Amos Wilson said, superficially things have changed, but fundamentally it's the same. And once we master the fundamentals, we can play with the superficial of what it looked like, because Dr. King and Malcolm ain't have Instagram and cell phones and means of communication to get to people real quick, because that would have minimized confusions just to get somebody on the phone. We have that ability now. We have the ability to see people in real time, you know? So these are new solutions that we need, but we have to have the confidence within ourselves and understand that we have the power to create the reality that we say that we're looking for. We have to stop looking for other people. The Sankofa bird only face backwards. Is look to the past to know where you're coming from, but the feet are moving forward, but we still got to move forward. Some people looking behind and walking behind. And they walking ass backwards. So to your question, Brother Blacksmith, the elders are all over the place with it. Some yay, some nay. But it would have worked a lot better had we seen the elders really come together as a solidified councils on a consistent basis and say, as a community, this is what we're fighting. This is our ideas. This is the strategy. Not only when Malcolm's birthday comes, you know, we go up to Fernwood, then we walk up 125th, and that's it till next year. Not come to my Kwanzaa celebration and I don't rock with him over there because he got a different Kwanzaa celebration. Like it's a lot of that going on here in New York. And it's been going on for decades.
For decades, since the 80s.
And me, I don't take part in that. I'm just a willing student. You know, I'm a student of the culture. I take it all in and I use what's applicable to my life and my situation. If it don't apply, let it fly.
Facts, my brother. I couldn't have said it any better. Since the 80s has been a disaster with that. But you know, when I would speak up about it, I was called a troublemaker. You know, I'm the person, I'm not going to throw a rock and hide my hand. I say what I say and I say it in your face, not behind your back, in your face. But again, going back to this event that took place this past Saturday, through all that rain and storm, the place was still sold out.
Yes.
Sold out. So here we go, family. Let's go. Let's see what brother Leia lyricist uh, thought of Saturday. Here we go. So are you ready for part two?
No audio.
I don't know why the audio is not working here. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. But they ain't want to hear my brother Leia lay it out. But he basically was talking about how he felt about the event and you know why he was here. And one of the things that he mentioned was to reinvigorate himself, right? I got that from a lot of people. I interviewed quite a few people who were there. I'll put it all together so that you guys could see it next week. You know, some of those interviews, but everybody felt the same in, you know, there were some fake ones, as Brother Taz said, they want to sit there and rub crystals and, that's why I said what I said when I got up there, Brother Taz. He know what I'm talking about. I think you recorded it. He know exactly what I said. It's going to take brute force. Tad, no, he was there. Listen, I told the audience it's going to take brute goddamn force. Because I seen some crystal rubbers up there. I seen it. I stayed in the back and parlayed and watched things.
I got one right here. What y'all fronting on?
Now, see, that's just why you stay on punishment, Black. That's just why. And I can tell that you got a lot of ass whoopers when you was little because you still don't listen. My brother, I love my brother. Hold on, family. Let me see. Just a clip of what, you guys could see what was going on Saturday. We couldn't record the Quasies. Of course, they are very serious about their intellectual property, and you can't blame them because most of the videos that you see of our elders on YouTube, they did not give consent from. I'm telling you that. They did, and they were pissed. Amos Wilson, a lot of them was pissed. But anyway, I'm going to play this clip.
Hey, y'all, I'm going. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
So I gotta make one of those Hodges. I appreciate you. Thank you. Urban X. I was looking at you as Nicholas BK. Make sure to support the event on Instagram as Kufunya, KUF. Come on now.
Let it be known, Thorough Black Talk is always on the scene as independent Black media. We gonna always be in the building. It was good to see a lot of people. Shout out to Nicholas BK. Tad got turned out. I wish Ashay was on tonight because Tad be ragging Ashay sometime on his vegan diet. But Tad got turned out on pumpkin patties. He's now addicted. He's turned completely out. He has some peanut punch. He is turned out. Look, he said, "Oh yeah, you see."
I forgot about
that. Do I lie, y'all? I bring y'all the truth thoroughly here.
No, but Sister Keisha, you can't front on them pumpkin patties. They was the truth. I ain't never had nothing like that.
Yes, you can definitely check out Alkaline Life on Halsey. That's 958 Halsey in Broadway. Check them out, and let them know that Thorough Black Talk sent you. Sister Marcia, I wish you could have been there. I know you had your obligations with the game night. I hope that went well. But we definitely, we got to stay the course because a lot of people crazy out here. And, I was watching, I was sitting there, I was minding my own Black business. I was supposed to do the libations for King Simon, but I just parlayed in the back. And I'm watching. I'm saying, yeah, he ain't, you can't take these over here in the foxhole with you. It ain't gonna work. So, I had to come with that African spirit when I closed out. But it was good to see the Quasies, and I definitely appreciated the education. Again, if you want copies of what was presented, you can reach out to them on Facebook, and you can definitely get their products by, I think it's Kemet New, right? Kemet New.
KEMET-NU.
Thank you, Brother Taz. So again, it was a pleasure. Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and comments, and we're gonna get the people up out of here.
Well, number one, I'm so sad I miss my Baba and my mama. I love sitting with them and chatting and having real good conversation. But I did commit myself to this program. And when you commit yourself, you stay committed, even if there's other things happening, because that just shows your strength as an individual and as an organization too. So I'm glad you both had a great time and y'all learned some stuff. Bring back the knowledge to the sister, because some knowledge. Am I buffering? This storm is kind of
No,
messing with my Wi-Fi.
you're fine on my end, but go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
But anyway, I think I'm buffering. So peace, everyone. Be safe out here. May time flourish with us all. Remember to study. Devotion of self brings out our highest consciousness. And to gain the collective consciousness, we must be devoted to study. Peace and may time flourish.
Brother Tad, your final thoughts and comments. Oh, pumpkin. I'm calling. He wearing orange. He got orange and white on his hat now.
Orange for the pumpkin, baby. Orange for the pumpkin.
That's
Great
my
pumpkin,
brother.
Charlie Brown. But to the family, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time, but we definitely serious about a lot of things we say. Anything that you may not agree with, we implore you just to do your research. Google's your friend. This is recorded. You can rewind it back, go to the timestamp. And if you feel that we said something erroneously, then challenge us. Maybe we could learn, and maybe we could teach you a little more, go a little more in depth, but the time is now to be the people that we say we want to see in this world. The time is now for you to be the best person that you can be. So hopefully you're inspired by some things you heard here tonight, and it's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Glad y'all came black again with us for another Thursday. As Brother Taz said, share, like, subscribe. Share, like, subscribe. We don't ask you for no bread over here. Just share, like, and subscribe as we continue to do our best in being thorough in Black media. And as my brother Ashe always closes out and lets us know, true courage is knowing how to suffer. Keep that left foot forward. And let's march in to victory. We out, y'all. Good night.